Marc Carney, a highly respected economist and former central banker, has just been elected as the new leader of Canada's Liberal Party. With this remarkable victory, he is now set to replace Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister. Before stepping into the political arena, Carney built an impressive career in finance, leaving a lasting mark on both Canadian and global economics. His leadership as the head of the Bank of Canada from 2008 to 2013 helped guide the country through one of the most severe financial crises in modern history. Later, he made history by becoming the first non-British governor of the Bank of England, holding the position from 2013 to 2020 and skillfully navigating challenges like Brexit. Throughout his career, Carney never hesitated to voice his opinions on major global issues. In 2018, while at the helm of the Bank of England, he openly criticized then U.S. President Donald Trump's trade policies, warning that imposing tariffs could have ripple effects across the world economy. But before delving into his past confrontations with Trump, it's worth reflecting on the powerful speech Carney delivered last night after securing leadership of the Liberal Party with an overwhelming 85.9% of the vote. Standing before the nation, Carney made one thing abundantly clear: Canada is a sovereign nation, and that will never change. His words were a direct and defiant response to recent comments made by Donald Trump, who had suggested that Canada might one day become America's 51st state. Carney firmly rejected that notion. America is not Canada, and Canada will never be part of America. Ever, he declared, leaving no room for ambiguity. Carney's speech was charged with passion, drawing on Canada's deep-rooted hockey culture to make his point even clearer. "We didn't ask for this fight," he said, "but when someone drops the gloves, Canadians are always ready." He also raised concerns about what he perceives as U.S. ambitions to exploit Canada's abundant natural resources, sounding the alarm on what he believes could be a threat to the nation's autonomy. "The Americans want what we have: our water, our forests, our country. If we let them take it, they will destroy everything that makes us who we are." His leadership comes at a critical time when tensions between Canada and the U.S. are at an all-time high. Trump's recent decision to impose a hefty 25% tariff on Canadian goods has put thousands of Canadian jobs at risk, and Carney is determined not to back down. He vowed that Canada would retaliate with tariffs of its own until the U.S. starts treating Canada fairly. Beyond these immediate trade disputes, Carney envisions a broader shift in Canada's economic strategy. He aims to reduce the country's reliance on its southern neighbor by forging stronger partnerships with other global economies, ensuring that Canada's future isn't dictated by American policies. Throughout his campaign, Carney was unapologetically blunt in his approach. "We will keep our tariffs in place until the Americans show us the respect we deserve," he insisted, showing no willingness to compromise. He has consistently called out Trump's economic policies, accusing him of trying to weaken Canada's economy for America's gain. "Donald Trump is attacking Canadian workers, businesses, and families with unfair trade barriers," Carney stated. "He wants to weaken us. We won't let him." The idea of Canada becoming part of the U.S. was another point Carney vehemently shut down. "Canada will never, ever be annexed," he declared, making sure his message resonated loud and clear. For Carney, this fight is about much more than tariffs and trade policies. It's about protecting Canada's identity, its economy, and its way of life. From the very start of his campaign, he promised to push back against what he called unfair U.S. trade practices, vowing to keep Canadian tariffs in place until the U.S. shows proper respect. "We're not backing down," he repeated firmly. "Our tariffs stay until they do the right thing." His fierce defense of Canadian sovereignty is deeply personal. Born on March 16, 1965, in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, Carney grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. His parents, both teachers, instilled in him a profound appreciation for education and hard work. He carried that drive with him to Harvard University, where he earned a degree in economics in 1988, and later to the University of Oxford, where he obtained both a master's and a doctorate in economics. Carney's career began at Goldman Sachs, one of the world's leading financial firms. He worked in major financial centers around the globe, including Boston, London, New York, Tokyo, and Toronto, handling everything from government debt to emerging markets. He played a key role in historic financial events, such as helping South Africa rejoin global markets after the end of apartheid and managing the fallout from Russia's financial collapse in 1998. In 2003, Carney joined Canada's central bank, quickly rising through the ranks. A year later, he moved to the Department of Finance, where he oversaw the sale of Canada's stake in Petro-Canada, a deal that brought in billions of dollars. By 2008, he was appointed governor of the Bank of Canada, just as the global financial crisis struck. His bold response, cutting interest rates early and keeping them low, helped Canada recover faster than many other nations. His decisive actions earned widespread praise and caught the attention of global leaders. In 2013, Carney made history once again by becoming the first non-British governor of the Bank of England. His tenure there was marked by his efforts to modernize the institution and guide the UK through the economic upheaval of Brexit. Even after stepping down in 2020, Carney remained a significant figure in international finance. As the United Nations Special Envoy for Climate Action and Finance, he championed policies that encouraged sustainable investment and warned of the global economy's over-reliance on the US dollar. At the Jackson Hole Symposium in August 2019, Carney argued that the world's dependence on the American dollar was stifling global growth, pointing out that while the U.S. represents only a fraction of global trade, its currency is used in more than half of all international transactions. He believed this imbalance made other nations vulnerable, as shifts in the U.S. economy caused ripple effects worldwide. To address this, he advocated for a more balanced financial system, potentially involving a new international currency supported by digital currencies issued by central banks. His warnings were not just theoretical. Carney stressed that America's unpredictable trade policies under Trump threatened global stability, cautioning that escalating trade wars could lead to economic downturns that no amount of monetary policy could counter. He emphasized that no country ever truly wins in a trade war, and that if the U.S. continued down that path, it stood to lose the most. Now, as Prime Minister, Carney is ready to put those beliefs into action. His leadership signals a new era for Canada, one where the country asserts itself on the global stage, pushes back against unfair U.S. policies, and forges new paths toward economic independence. Carney's message is clear. Canada is strong, resilient, and unyielding. When we stand united, we are unstoppable, he proclaimed. As tensions with the U.S. continue to rise, the world will be watching closely to see how this bold new leader defends his nation's sovereignty and shapes its future.